Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. This is a series that consists of spewing out assorted thoughts which arose from somebody who thinks too much, taking in, and generally loving various entertainment media by the boatload. These tidbits may be little theories, observations, or simply jokes. Please bear in mind that all these ideas come from the perspective of somebody who's experienced every main story bit connected with whatever is currently being gone over. So spoilers will be here. However, other works set in a shared continuity will typically solely be referenced in a way that only makes sense to anybody who's also fully experienced those ones up until their same time occurring points. Sort of a coded nod kind of deal. Now, with all of that out of the way, here we go. The up until then Queen's fleeing from currently Commander Koopa must have been timed in this way because said dictatorship-desiring dino dude started his coup immediately after obtaining some fancy military rank which made him privy to classified info regarding dimensions being split by meteorites and whatnot. Especially the bits about how somebody only descended from at least one half of this current royal family could make everything fuse together once again. This universe's whole deal seems to be Mario and Luigi's typical positions being swapped, with the latter taking on a go-getter role while his older brother gets some stay-out-everything action going on. Although the usually green garb good guy is still not so confident when it comes to people skills. Anyway, this status switcheroo seems sorta connected to this reality being rooted in unexplained science stuff, as opposed to barely mentioned magical malarkey like what the games typically involve. Iggy and Spike not deriving pleasure from bread eating might have something to do with being pissed about their species' evolutionary path in this plumber-inhabited alternate Manhattan, involving winding up small and feather-covered. At least people in fictional New York settings are often shown feeding birds breadcrumbs after all, thus they find most bakery-related hoopla as an offensive reminder of being considered pathetic in the eyes of stupid humans. Mario gets rather bloodlusty, mentioning in graphic detail how he'll handle Scapelli's supposed goons, while Luigi is merely seeking to protect, or at worst avenge, his new crush Daisy. This whole situation is almost definitely the result of Mr. Older Not Yet Super Plumber having brother messing with being a huge button for him. The dude simply can't stand seeing sibling sorrow, so seething rage will always follow events where his younger bro gets hurt. He's probably even full-on decked folks for getting Luigi's pizza orders wrong. Plumber alerts would be a previously established thing in Dino Hatton because sewer workers must fall into said alternate dimension all the time. Also, such people would be considered dangerous for this sinister, scaly, surveyed society because they might close off the portal access when going back if too much freaking out happened upon wandering up in there. Anybody sentenced to prison here gets defungused because Koopa doesn't want the Mushroom King aiding all the anti-establishment people. Of course, the original guy in charge is probably trying that anyway, but having everybody in one place when it happens would be especially troublesome for the aforementioned Tyranno Tyrant. Mr. Usually the main character must have bought every single premium channel, which includes those conspiracy ones seen throughout this film, so his Ghostbusting in Another Life younger brother would have access to true educational content and whatnot. Hence how Luigi knows placing this Cretaceous-contained T-Rex descendant into a Jurassic scenario-creating machine would make the guy feel all screwy. These shady police force cruisers have dozers both for crowd control and fungus containing. The muckily morphed Mushroom King must be preventing that tunnel from getting completed. He simply can't stand the thought of Koopa's reach expanding to an entire world, even one that's supposedly all desert, both because he doesn't want the devious dude developing more weapons in other places, and also his heart holds enough compassion to worry greatly about nomad tribes and whatever. These crony cousin competence levels remain low upon getting their brain enhancements because going over all their new knowledge while pondering old actions with that greatly boosted critical thinking goodness has rendered them super confused. Plus, they might still have much muscle memory pertaining to failure ingrained deeply within their bodies. By the way, these guys' complete conversion into current regime-defined folks must have occurred during that car ride home. This mostly would have involved chatting with the almost reaching better than usual capability proclaiming title earning status bros about random junk, realizing said fellows are nice, oddly skilled, and that they're almost definitely going to win with help from a certain practically omnipresent fungus heat. On a related note, this particular pile of gross goodness must have initially tried directly assassinating King Koopa, probably during bedtime even, hence the guy's rigorous hygiene routine. A certain tune about performing motions mimicking normally extinct creatures being played in this bar, and that swell elevator music going on later, must exist in this reality because experiments with dimensional crossing wound up accidentally hijacking radio waves on multiple occasions. These reptilian government dudes want to take over that other universe, might as well engage in some trans-dimensional music piracy along the way. The just now technically getting better than most jumping abilities Mario Bros can still move quickly wearing those Thwomper Stompers because they're used to maneuvering while being all heavy gear strapped as a result of usually donning completely packed tool belts. Koopa would never move this chair because he risked getting killed by the formerly humanoid Mushroom King. Having a mockery-filled sitting session upon his successful coup throwing might have even been when he experienced that supposed mushroom-made massacring attempt brought up sometime earlier. Of course the guy has laser pointer touchscreens as opposed to normal ones. He doesn't know how many minions keep up with their hand cleanliness after all. Dude doesn't want any previous ruler fragments jumping off screen and successfully taking the kingdom back. Plus, this movie was released in 1993 and this seemed all cool and futuristic back then. Iggy and Spike's comment that goes something along the lines of, they've been sided with Daisy's father since forever, is at least a half-truth. After all, everyone in the city has been with said fancy former fellow non-stop, as there's practically no surface he's not covering there. Plus, all that bumbling minion behavior under their tyrannical former boss helped out the old ruler more. On a related and weird note, maybe inhaling fungal spores is what prevents the general populace from fully falling for Koopa's crap. Basically, a situation where indoctrination gets prevented through benevolent forced tripping. The Mushroom King must have hoarded all but bombs for fear of being blown to even more bits and or getting set ablaze along with his entire city. This explosive entrapment would likely involve going so far as to take away every Tiny Tin troublemaker right when manufacturing finishes up. He wouldn't confiscate the fireball throwers because such things can't wander off on their own when malfunctions happen. Extra eccentric eukaryote examination, holding those fungal bits is what makes Mario go back to Dino Hatton when the merging ceases. Mr. True Ruler reverts so quickly because an ever-present security guard witnessed Koopa's defeat and fixed the nice noble right away once he knew a fatal punishment would never follow. These two probably travel back and forth in between worlds checking on things for Daisy, at least when it comes to Mario Bros. Safety status.
Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.